everybody. You are listening to the Fake Book Club podcast, where we talk about everything from movies, music, and life, and occasionally the books we're reading. You can follow us on SoundCloud and Spotify, and maybe more in the future. And we hope that you enjoyed today's show. I'm Whitney, and I'm here today with my co-host. I'm going to kick it off with Tessa, who was not here last week.
Hi, I'm Tessa.
Oh, hi, I'm Chris, back again.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tabrisha.
Hi, everyone. It's Evelyn, Go Champions League.
Yes. So that is everyone on our team. And before we get started, we just want to say that we will be mentioning brands that are not affiliated nor sponsored yet, and that we may talk about during this recording. So with that, let's kick it off with our first topic, and that is, what have we read this week? We wouldn't be a fake book club without actually reading some books. So
Attempting to read some books.
I've actually completed like 2 of them. So we're going to talk about a little bit about what we read, what we liked or not liked about it, or what we're in the middle of reading. And I'm going to toss it to Tabrisha, who's going to talk about her first book.
Yeah, so I started Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Iyimide. She has a very beautiful name, and it is hard to pronounce sometimes, but it is a very beautiful name. But Farida is the best-selling author of the mega hit Ace of Spades, and this is her upcoming book that's coming out in Tuesday, actually, on March 19th. So it takes place with a girl who, Sade, she's in a boarding school. She has dealt with a lot of tragedy in her life. Both of her parents are dead, so she is in this boarding school in the middle of England, and then she's roomed with this roommate, Elizabeth. But the day after meeting her roommate, she disappears. Nobody knows what happens, or they accept the truth of what happened, but there's just like little subtle clues that there's really something sinister going on in this boarding school. So if you are a fan of dark academia, this is a really great book. Farida puts a lot of references with like Shakespeare and also dealing with racism and feminism. So it's a very great YA book that, and I'm enjoying it so far, and I highly recommend it to people.
Is it in the same universe as Ace of Spades?
No, because even though Ace of Spades wasn't very clear on which country it's set in, because I think a lot of people felt that it could have been in America or in the UK, Where Sleeping Girls Lie does take place in England, because it does say England, it does say like British colloquialisms. Thank you. Oh my God.
What part of England?
Oh, I don't know. It just says England.
It's supposed to be generic, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's very generic. Cool. But if I had to say maybe Birmingham, probably like in the Yorkshire, like county around that area.
Midlands.
The Midlands, I would say. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how does it compare to her debut novel? And also, I know we have this saved to the end, but you are doing another author talk with her soon.
Yes, I am. I am doing it on Friday, March 29th at 3:30 p.m. So if you visit our website, and also we will have the link embedded in the episode description. You have the registration link there. It will happen over Zoom. So how this is different, it is similar, but also it is very suspenseful and mysterious, just like of Ace of Spades. I don't think it's as long as Ace of Spades. The pace is a little bit quicker, but you just feel like it just really is grabbing you, and you just want to, like, you're diving more into what is really going on in this story, what is going with this creepy school, why is everyone okay that this girl has disappeared and there's no evidence of like she's still alive. I don't want to give anything away.
You just told us the whole plot.
No.
You said she's still alive. You said she's still alive.
I mean, as far as I've gotten, she is believed to still be alive, but her friends think otherwise. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, kind of moving on to our next read, Tabrija and I both read I Hate This Place by Kyle Starks. Not Kyle Higgins, like I mentioned last time. Kyle Higgins is a anime voice actor, I believe.
Oh, but he's also a comic book artist.
Or maybe he's a...
Yeah, and we also interviewed him too.
That's why. So, yes. So
Retracting from
yeah.
the previous episode.
And I was still wrong. So what happened is it's a graphic novel series about these two women who are very much in love. Yay, queer love. Who one of them, Gabby, inherits her aunt's farm and it's haunted. And it doesn't lead up. You're instantly like, oh, there's ghosts here and people getting murdered. And lots of blood, lots of gore. There's 2 volumes. I did not read the second one just because I just couldn't get my hands on it in enough time. But it's a very interesting, like, murder mystery with a little bit of heist hijinks into it.
Yeah.
And I really like Kyle. Kyle Starks is, like, an amazing dude. And he was very... What was it? He was very open about wanting queer representation, which I appreciated. Mm-hmm. And so now it's like, now I definitely have to read the next one. I really have to support them.
Yeah.
But he's a good dude. There is a recording of that talk between Tabrija, Kyle, and myself, and we can post that on our website later once we convert it.
It's like a really good book for those who enjoy... If you enjoy, like, Stranger Things...
Yes.
And then also the graphic novel series Something is Killing the Children, which I absolutely love. And if you like scary things but you prefer to read about them instead of watching it, like myself because I cannot watch Stranger Things, you will enjoy I Hate This Place because it was really funny and the graphics, the story, it was really captivating and really grabbing.
Is this young readers or
adult?
It's
adult.
Just
It's
checking.
adult. Yeah.
No, I just looked up the like images from the comic, and that art style is wild.
It's amazing.
It's so amazing. And then there's like so much going on. It's like it's sci-fi. There's horror, supernatural. There's just like a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Yeah, it's just so much going on. And then also in the next volume, there's like time travel and it just like it. He packs so much in, and it sucks. It's only 2 volumes. Hopefully, if maybe more people go out and buy the comic or read it, they'll ask for another volume. But as of right now, it's only 2. But it is just a really great graphic novel that a lot of people should read.
I think so just for full disclosure, Gabby and Trudy are an interracial couple, and Gabby is white and does all of the things that white people do.
The stereotypical things.
Yes, and you're just like, why is your black wife staying with you? I don't know. I was telling Tabrija, I'm like, I don't know if I could love anyone that much to stay in a haunted house, but what forces them to stay is just like, it's kind of the point of no return, plus spoilers, if they try to leave, it's very apparent of what will happen if they do. Mm-hmm. So but luckily Trudy is a survivalist.
Yeah.
But again, we'll put the video recording of that talk on our website once it's available. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Tessa, who is a publishing guru and things that she's read.
Guru is a strong word.
And I stand by it.
No. Don't, please. Through my job, I was able to get an advanced copy of Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, which is, I believe, the 4th the fourth contemporary romance that she's written, and it's up for release in June. And basically, someone else has described it to me as like the angstiest, spiciest thing she's written so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spiciest.
Yes.
She's written some pretty spicy stuff.
She's written some pretty spicy stuff. Like most of us here have read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. So it's which was like, you know, my first entry in, and I've read every single one since. But Not in Love is basically like a forbidden secret affair between two people on opposite sides of a hostile corporate takeover.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the protagonist, Rue, is a food scientist at one of the most promising startups in the field of food science, and her love interest is Eli, who's from, I believe, a what do you call this? I think they call it like a financial like
Big fintech.
Yeah. They're like a corporate group that has been taking over several science startups.
Yeah.
And to their credit, they've been doing good work, but also because this startup that Rue is in is like a female-led and female-started tech startup.
That's how you know it's fiction, by the way. Because you will never... Okay, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No.
as part of the tech world, you don't see it in real life. But I want to say I love that Ali Hazelwood put that in there.
Like, I would love... I want more of this. I want fiction to be reality.
Yes!
Let's do this.
Yes.
But yeah, no, everyone's what do you call it? I've been very excited for this book, and like I read it in one night. Literally received it in the afternoon of, I think, when did I go to the office? Wednesday. I received it in the afternoon of Wednesday, went home, started it, and I stayed up until 3 a.m. reading it because
God.
I cannot stop.
Her books are so readable.
They're
The one that I have
they're
read, The Love
extremely
Hypothesis.
bingeable.
Yeah.
Like, there's just something about, maybe it's me and my history of like fan fiction reading, but like there's a way that like she writes that feels like you're binging like
Completely.
a season.
And not only that, but I feel like when she gets technical, it's so good too, and that's so rare to find in.
She
any
makes
book.
like all of the STEM background of everything like very
Hell yeah.
digestible.
Hell yeah.
Does she have a STEM background?
Yeah, she's what do you call? She's a woman in STEM. I believe now she's a professor, but I off the top of my head I do not know the full background.
Yeah, no, but she does have a technical background, which when I
Oh,
get about,
that's
like, this is why it
That's-
reads so real when she's talking about something.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to have, because sometimes you don't want a writer some writers do a good job of pulling something out of a profession and putting it in their writing, and they have no knowledge or nothing about it. But it's also good to have that in the background because it just makes it, like you guys said, more real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. Put
Yeah.
it that way.
So according to just so I'm clear on like Ali Hazelwood's background, so she's originally from Italy, lived in Japan and Germany, and moved to the U.S. to pursue a PhD in neuroscience, and she recently became a professor.
There you go.
So she's got a neuroscience background.
That's wild.
Why is she a
Insane.
Genius lady.
professor? She's making probably so much money now.
Keep your day job.
That's true. That's
Keep your
true.
day out, for sure.
But you can
I've
tell.
recently told that to somebody at my job.
You can tell from all the things that she's written that she's very passionate about the sciences.
Yes.
So like I feel like it's a blend of keep your day job and do what you love.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so great. I mean, not to diminish like the usual heroine in a rom-com or like any romantic book, but you don't tend to see them with that kind of background. So
I adore
Yeah,
every
very
single
rarely
one.
do you see them like hard sciences where stuff seems plausible and real, and not just like, oh, I poured some bleach in a beaker and some ammonia.
Wait, no, that's a bad idea. Hang on. Do not combine bleach and ammonia.
Do not combine bleach with anything.
we're gonna edit out. Do not
Do not combine bleach
combine
with water.
bleach.
And yet you see all like the videos of cleaning, like social media posts or social media videos, and it's like Fabuloso and bleach and toilet bowl cleaner. I'm like,
Nope.
how are you not dead?
No no one can see me. Like, but for lack of visual, I'm just here like making a cut off. Like,
no.
like nope.
We
Don't
make
do
sure to put an episode description like, don't do any of the things with bleach or Fabuloso. Don't do that.
Don't mix it.
Oh,
Don't mix
God,
it.
no.
Don't screw
I
with
remember
bleach.
one time at Blick, one of the new hires did that.
Oh.
Because we're supposed to clean the bathroom and break rooms at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And one of the new hires, who I guess had never cleaned anything in their life, decided to mix like the Fabuloso and put some bleach in there. And we just stared at them like, why? Just why?
Trying to kill you.
That's what
secret plot.
Yeah,
He's like,
just pour it-
I'm
Trying
done
to
with
make
this
Agent
job.
Orange or Agent Fabuloso.
No, legitimately, and
He's
like
like,
walked into the break room, smelled it, and was like, dump that shit. Just go. Just go.
Like, that is a breathing hazard. A whole breathing hazard.
War crimes.
War crimes. Earlier, so we have like, 3 more books that we want to talk about. And coming back to me, I recently listened to, I know we talked the first time how active listening is hard, but it's so hard. But I listened to The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School by Sonora Reyes. And it's about this girl who transfers to a Catholic school with her brother because her best friend outed her as being a lesbian. And there wasn't a lot of Catholic school happening other than like she went there.
Love it. It was just set dressing.
Ew, she
Wait a
can't leave it at
minute.
that.
Yeah.
What do you mean Catholic school? Like, what did you
Like, well, she went to a Catholic school because it was a better education.
Yeah.
And like the students there were rich, like mostly white, mostly rich, and a little racist because
Okay.
of course. But like other than that, there wasn't. She went to school obviously, but there wasn't a lot of other than like the uniforms and going amongst classes. If you just said the Lesbiana's Guide to Going to a School,
It would have been the same.
it would have been the
Well,
Yeah,
that's what do you call it? Misleading.
Misleading. So what you're saying is there wasn't like, because I went to Catholic school, so
Ditto.
yeah.
I mean, it was mentioned that like they go to certain
So morning
religious
prayer
classes and
and-
they do the class and they do the thing, but like the Catholic, she just went to Catholic school, but that wasn't like
The point of it.
the big point of it because it wasn't like, oh, I'm gay and I'm going to like there was some.
That's what I
okay.
get from hearing that title, and to hear that it's not about that is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, there is like some religiousness about it, and like the priests off page or telling you you're going to hell, or like gay marriage should be illegal because it's against God. So there is like some conversations there, but I don't know. When I hear Catholic school, I'm thinking like the Ace of Spades type, or like
yeah.
or
So
private school.
there
if
wasn't
you
like
will.
like an it's like there wasn't like an assembly, or was there a mention of mass, of them going to mass?
like once or twice.
Oh no.
You
Okay.
go.
Yeah. No.
And it was just like, but
no,
they
but
were
was
in-
there an actual scene written out going to mass? Okay, so no, that's misleading.
That doesn't.
Yeah.
I have 2 thoughts about this.
Yeah.
I can't really. So I had to read it for work because it's in June. There's like this. We're doing an author talk, in person thing with her, or them. Sonora uses they them pronouns. My bad. But just doing an author talk with them in June. So I kind of had to refresh my mind because I read this book for Lambda Literary like 2 years ago. So I was just like, I don't really remember what happened. And because I
2
had
years ago is a long time.
yeah, so I had to.
Yes.
So I listened to it because to me, listening to an audiobook when you're crunched for time is better than having a physical book in the hand, because at least I don't necessarily read at 2 times speed. I can listen to a book at 2 times speed, and something that was like, oh, well, this book is going to take 9 hours to complete. Oh no, now it's at least 7. So I'm like, cool, that's a day, and I can listen to it like on the train while I'm working, just shooting the shit. But I did like the story because what I love about it is when everyone's queer. Like that's one of my favorite tropes. When I'm reading like these teen YA romances or just like books in general. I don't want to give too much away, but I do like the fact that there are some trigger warnings, like one character almost commits suicide or attempts to. It's diverse because her love interest is Asian or East Asian, adopted, but it's still pretty cool. And what I really appreciated the most about this book, and then I will toss it to Chris, is how open and frank they are with not accepting like racism and homophobia. Like as soon as it happens, it gets called out, versus like in other things that I've read, the characters just sit on it and like don't say anything or address it. So that's what I loved about it the most.
Yeah, I will say I was of two minds when you all said that putting it like in Catholic school, quote unquote, like as set dressing was like, you know, misleading, because like on the one hand I kind of like that it's not a big, like that being her being in the Catholic school is not the point of the story. The point of the story is her experience. On the other hand, I'm just like, there's so much that a Catholic school like does to like a situation like that would be incredibly like impactful on that experience, because like as somebody who went to like an all girls Catholic school like in the past, there's a lot of things that that happen because it's always a blend between like, oh, religious stuff is happening and you're not allowed to do many things. On the other hand, you're in a school with only girls and the only exposure you get is all girls, and what does that do to you? You know, like it's just a thing that happens.
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was a co-ed Catholic school. Yeah.
I feel like that is more common. Did this take place in America?
Arizona?
Oh.
Okay. I feel like the co-ed Catholic school is a lot more commonplace, like in the U.S.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, we have like gender segregated schools.
Yeah. In New York,
especially in the 90s.
In New York, a lot of the Catholic schools, Catholic high schools, are either all boys or all girls.
Yeah.
There's very, very few that are co-ed, but it's either one or the other.
Yeah, no, my cousin went to a co-ed elementary / middle school Catholic school, and I know that the Catholic high school that's near me where I live was all boys until I want to say maybe 5 years ago, where it became co-ed. So now it's co-ed, and it seems to have not changed much, except now I see more kids coming out of that school. That's it.
I will end it to say, like, the title isn't completely misleading because she does go to Catholic school and there are some like religious, anti-LGBT religious conversations happening because it is a Catholic school, but again, it's not like the main focus. I've try not to talk too negatively about the book because I did actually like it, but I'm also like, I am in my late 30s now, and sometimes I'm like, girl, come on. Like,
well, I mean, I think it's like I think that's like the same thing like with YA books, because we have to remember, like, it's not really meant
for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
That's
meant
why
for...
I don't read them.
Yeah. It's meant for
there's
teens.
nothing wrong with reading them.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you do have to remind yourself, this is not actually meant for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm already past that stage.
Yeah, because there was like one book I read, like Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. I didn't think it was great. It wasn't like the mystery aspect, the plotting. It was lacking. However, it didn't stop me from recommending it at my job, because I'm like, okay, I didn't like it, but it's meant for you guys, and I think it's like a fast-paced mystery that you guys would like, and it touches on topics that are currently in the news that you probably don't know about, and this actually will open your mind about it. So that's how I just like sometimes I think about. But there are some really great YA books. I'm like, okay, this is a book that everyone can read because it's just has a great storytelling, great pacing, and great elements that that's enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah, no, to that I actually had to remember. So I read Children of Blood and Bone.
Oh my god.
Wait, no. Here's the thing. Here's what I will say about
Wait a
that.
minute.
I am clearly not the demographic for that book. Read it, enjoyed it. Don't think I'm gonna read the second book.
You enjoyed that book?
It was a struggle.
No, I read it full, like I did read it, and I was just like, all right, I'm able to like flip. Like it caught my attention enough that I was able to like read it within a week or so. So I'm like, not bad. But
If you can't read a book in 2 days, it's not good.
it really depends on me though,
That depends.
because that
I
depends
know,
how
I'm
much
just
free time I
messing
got.
with
We
you.
read it for book club.
Chris likes to
Did
stew
you
in
really?
the
Wait,
Yeah.
was this before I
Wait,
started hanging
Children
out?
of Blood
Of
and
Blood and
Yeah,
Bone, yeah.
I did
remember?
not read it.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, well good.
I did not read
good
it.
You
you
told me at
didn't.
the Emmy.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god.
It was a struggle for you guys?
It was.
Really?
She needed to edit it down.
Oh.
She
It was
needed
a
to.
thick book.
She needed to
It
edit
Was
it
it more
down.
than 300
Okay, so my
pages?
Yes.
Yes.
So my
That's bad.
question to you guys is like, how often do you go into fantasy genre stuff?
Yeah, maybe that's
Because
the big
fantasy
difference.
like the expectations of the fantasy genre are very different from like.
I do. Yes.
I can
I
concede
will-
to that.
Yes.
I will normally read a book that's 500 plus.
Yes.
No.
So
Bring back
You have to fill the
200.
world.
no, but it's a
or
fantasy
less.
book.
I
You have to
understand that too.
establish
I was on that
so
generation.
much. But my point is this.
Yeah, okay.
To me, that's not. I'm clearly not the demographic for it.
Right.
But I will say I was reading it on the train with the cover out, and like this little girl saw it, and she's like slapping her mom and going like, "Look," and pointing at her hair, like.
Oh.
And I'm just like, all right, yes, you are the demographic for this book.
Yes.
I hope you, when you're old enough to read this, you enjoy it.
Isn't that the same author who was mad at not Nora Roberts, the other one?
Wait,
James Patterson.
No,
Sarah Grifton?
no. I think it might have been Nora Roberts.
She said Nora Roberts.
Not
Sarah
Nora. Who
Grifton's
did
the other one I can think of.
Who did the? It's gonna like R's for Murder.
Yeah,
or-
that's what I'm trying
That's
to think
Sue
of.
Grafton.
Sue Grafton. Oh,
yeah.
I was
It wasn't Sue Grafton.
Oh.
Wait, hold
That
on.
was close.
I know it was like one where she has a different pen name where she writes a mystery series about a cop, a female cop, or a female detective.
Sorry,
J.D. Robb.
Thank you.
Oh, J.D.
That's
Robb.
Nora
Okay.
Roberts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J.D. Robb is
Oh.
Nora.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I figured.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I remember like the author of Blood and Bone had beef with Nora
I
Roberts.
remember
No.
that.
What
Because-
kind of beef?
Why?
Because she tried to come for Nora Roberts that Nora Roberts stole her title idea, and I'm like, you're
you
coming
do not
for
come for Nora
you
Roberts.
do not come for the Nora Roberts.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, and so I just kind of just had lost interest in her as an author, not because I want to cape for Nora Roberts,
No,
but it's
but
just like
that's
Nora,
not a smart
who's
move.
who's been writing books probably longer than you've been alive, and you're coming for her because of similar titling.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I have to say, I don't mind author beef. I think it's fun.
That's
I
always
love
fun.
author
Yeah. It's always fun to find
But
out.
I feel
about.
like now in the age of like Twitter and like Goodreads, where people are ghosting their not ghosting, like doing fake
hard to-
reviews.
Yeah, fake
Oh,
reviews,
yeah.
creating
We don't
multiple
want to get started on
accounts.
that
Yeah,
one.
that could be.
Oh, that's an
an
entirely different topic. We'll do that next time.
Yeah,
Yes,
that is
yes,
an
that's
entirely
true.
different thing that I would love to get into, but let's save it for the end.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go back to what Tessa was saying about fantasy. Fantasy is definitely, it's not my genre. A lot of the books,
Is
they're
it not
really
your
thick.
cup of tea?
Yeah, it is not my cup of tea, Chris.
Couldn't resist.
But there have been like a couple of fantasy books that I have enjoyed, like Monsters Born and Made, Summer in the Deep, Goddess Crown, and they are about, I want to say like 300 to 400 pages.
Yeah.
I understand.
So just with Children of Blood and Bone,
It was a
that
thick book.
It's a
needed
tome.
to be edited down. I got the point what she was making, but she needed to say it shorter.
Yeah, I did have that issue with it, but also, again, with so much fantasy, that is the case where they do tend to repeat
I-
things
Yeah.
or
I
like
kinda-
plots.
She kept repeating. I
She
was
did.
like,
She
Scratch
absolutely
this
did.
out. Scratch this out.
It's really-
Sometimes you need an editor.
It's really funny. It's really funny because like I know you gave me the arc for Hurricane Wars, and I don't know if this is a book you could have powered through then.
Oh no, that's why I gave it to you.
and I'm so happy you
Yeah,
did.
okay.
Just know this.
I saw it for free, and I was like, Tessa, did you? I saw you wanted to read this. And you're like, yes. Like, oh great.
Yes,
There we go.
please give it to me. It's the best thing in the world. God. But yeah, throwing it back to Chris because he's been rereading the Codex Alera by Jim Butcher.
Ah, yes. So this is one of my favorite fantasy series. The premise for it is ridiculous, because essentially he wrote it on a dare, where it was somebody dared him to write a fantasy novel about Pokemon and the Lost Roman Legion.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's an interesting mix.
Pokemon.
Yeah?
Is that
And
what this
the-
is? The Codex?
The
The
Codex
Codex
Alera.
Alera. It's not a
series.
one-to-one, obviously, but he does use like the Lost Roman Legion, and like the magic that is used in like the magic system that's used in here when it is employed, is kind of split, where the protagonist, like the descendants of the Lost Roman Legion, their magic takes the place like an external force. So they're commanding like the forces of nature in the world. And some of those forces do take the shapes of monsters for the most part. Some of them, which are weaker, are like described as just being like barely seen or just incorporeal. And then you also have another race in the world where they bond with their like totems. So like a horse, a herdbane, which is a giant flightless bird that's native to this world, stuff like that. So again, that same concept of using monsters to fight.
And this was a dare.
This was on a dare. He wrote 5. It's a 5-novel series.
It's actually a series I've been meaning to read
Yeah.
because I have a strong obsession with Pokemon. So like
Is your
this is-
starter Pokemon?
Who's my starter? Which generation?
Yeah, you don't ask that to her.
When it's your turn, we can go into it.
Yes, please.
But yeah, no,
Yes,
this is one of the like series that I do reread on the regular just because I like the way he's written it.
okay.
But yeah, so
Wait,
I
is
just,
the first book like how many pages are you talking?
oh no, these are thick books.
To be fair, the book that you have is a mass market volume.
It's mass market,
so
but
it's
I
like small,
believe-
but like small and thick.
Small
Yeah,
and
I
thick,
believe the
so-
pages they run from like I think 300 to 500 pages.
Oh, that's
Sounds
not
about
crazy.
right.
Yeah, it's not super crazy, but it is a standard like fantasy novel.
I was
Do
gonna
they
s-
get captured at the end? If they
No,
lose,
that's
or,
the
like-
thing. They don't. It's very like loose. The Pokemon thing is very loose.
Yeah.
It's very
so the
much.
protagonist is not a kid or anything.
Because he probably
He's
like,
not- he's
I-
not
I-
10
Actually,
forever,
no,
Okay.
he's not 10 forever.
Okay.
He does start the protagonist. There's several points of view in the book. One of them is a kid that's like starts the novels at 15, ends I believe 25. The like series takes place over the course of several years.
I would probably need to see it like visually.
Oh, I would love for them to make this a TV show, but given how they've been handling fantasy TV shows recently, I'd rather not. Maybe
Well,
an
I was gonna
animated
say,
show. Maybe an
a
animated
studio
show.
I feel
ball.
like
Oh,
animated
yeah,
is
that's what I
better.
think. That's what I meant. I didn't mean like live action.
Like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, I meant
But you
like
never know.
let's do
Please
anime
no,
because I
please
think
no.
I'll be more interested in it.
They are. Oh wait, they're making a live action show of a fantasy series that I've also read. I cannot remember the author, but the first book of it is Hood, and it's essentially a more grounded retelling of the Robin Hood like mythos.
Oh, this is the book you like.
Yeah, I cannot remember the author's name, but there's 3 of them. It's Hood, Scarlet, and Tuck.
Is this Stephen Lawhead?
Yeah, Stephen Lawhead.
Yeah.
So apparently they're making live action of this, and I'm curious to see how it's going to be, because it is essentially fantasy, but it's very much like, oh, is there actually magic happening, or are the characters just hallucinating?
Ooh, I like
Yeah,
that.
it's one of
That's a
those.
nice twist.
Because it's very. it
So
is-
like Demon Slayer, where we're technically not supposed to be seeing like
yeah,
technique.
this is more like actually,
Controversial choice, by the way.
or like if you've ever seen the King Arthur retelling with Clive Owens as the lead as King Arthur.
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of like that, where like the Picts are like depicted as being quote unquote magical, and yet you don't actually see any sort of magic.
Gotcha.
That's the kind of world that this is. That's the kind of
Okay.
series, and it's just.
So magical realism or just delusional?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's happened so far in the past that it's like it could be magic. You don't know.
Yeah.
Could
'Cause, like,
just be
it's-
some herbs.
With something
Yeah.
like Robin Hood, it's always like, are they gonna go swashbuckling, or are they going to go like the magical realism thing that they're talking
Yeah,
about?
and so I enjoyed that series a lot because it was a lot of it did lend itself a little bit more to like intrigue and what exactly like Robin Hood's point was doing, what he was doing in the forest and like how he ended up there. It gives you the point of view of him in the first book, of Scarlet in the second book, and then of Friar Tuck in the third book.
That's
I might have gotten
cool.
that switched, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like you do get different perspectives, and it's telling like a singular story along these 3 novels.
That's cool, actually.
I would watch that. Maybe Kevin Costner can come back as somebody.
Oh,
Hey, I watch it. Yeah, absolutely. As Friar Tuck this time around, or as what's it called, the King. Yeah.
yeah. I think he would be. I think he would be good, like as a king cameo, you know.
Or what's his name? Carrie Yules?
Carrie Yules,
Carrie
Oh, I love
Yes.
Carrie Elwes. Yes.
I will
Robin Hood
Yeah.
Men in Tights is
is one of the
That's
best
excellent.
Robin Hood
Perfect
adaptations around.
iteration.
Carrie has my heart.
Carrie
Yes.
and Carrie and Kevin.
What, you don't like Russell Crowe as Robin Hood?
I did like Taron
Did-
Egerton though. The
How
story
was that one?
You know what? I think I liked it. I liked it as a story. It's just they set it up as like a weird
Kingsman, but
prequel sequel thing.
Oh.
But I liked his chemistry. I liked Taron's chemistry with Jamie Foxx as like the Muslim trainer.
Yeah,
so I would definitely like to see them in something else again. But
interesting.
I hate when they do like the mix of like modernism, but
Yeah.
keep
That's
it
why I was asking
medieval.
like how it
But
was.
I did enjoy the story, and I'm glad that I watched it. Would I have paid to see it? No, and I get why it flopped. But once you watch it, it's how I feel about Ant-Man, and then we can toss it to Tessa. It's how I feel about Ant-Man, where I'm like, I wasn't interested in seeing it, but then when I saw the first movie
Yeah.
on some streaming platform, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty decent. And I felt bad that I didn't see it,
No.
but I liked.
Just the third one.
As
No,
much-
the third one was terrible.
the third
that's-
one was
that's exactly.
bad. Even though I like at the time
Wow.
before his controversy, I did like Jonathan Majors.
Fair. No,
Yeah,
he did a
no,
good
yeah,
job as
he's-
King, and
He's good.
he was on the up and up, and then suddenly,
I
He
know.
proved to be a jerk.
Yep.
So
For lack
disappointing.
of better
Yeah.
things. Not Evelyn. Not Tessa. I misspoke. It is Evelyn, and talking about the book that she's reading right now.
Yeah, which is actually in Spanish, so I'm challenging myself to read outside of English. I can understand both languages. Reading is a little difficult. I have to say, throughout my life, I've probably read less than 10 books in Spanish.
What
So-
is the
More than
title
me.
of the
The
book?
title is La vida que pensamos, which is kind of like the life we thought of, and the subtitle is Cuentos de Fútbol, which means stories of soccer. So now you guys know why I'm
That
that
reading
explains
this.
so much.
It
more.
explains a lot. Just so I can describe the cover, it's a coffee cup, and the stains on the table are well, one of the stains is in the shape of a soccer ball.
I did not see that soccer ball when you showed us the cover
Same.
the first
Exactly.
time.
I only
I
saw
like-
the tea.
So
That's so
Or the coffee
funny.
cup.
yeah, it's a great cover to be honest. This print is like either Spanish or Mexican, I don't know, but the author is Argentinian, Eduardo Saccheri. I don't know how you say
Saccheri.
it.
So it's a
Usually they're Italian names, so you can say Saccheri.
biography.
No, stories.
Oh, it's stories.
So
Like
it's
short- like an
fiction.
anthology.
Fiction
or?
stories, a bunch
Oh,
of fictional
I thought
stories
it said
inside.
the-
What's that?
No, the spine.
it's a
label.
library book, people.
It is a library book. Support your local library, by the way. Don't buy books. Don't do that. But anyway, there are stories about football in basically in your common everyday life. It's not like they're just going to games or anything like that. I mean, they are watching games. It depends. It depends on what the story is about. But I would say I'm not finished with it. One of my favorite stories is kind of about But well, let's just say football is huge in Argentina. If you didn't know, aka soccer, it is like life or death there. So it's kind of like a big deal when your dad supports a club. You're automatically like born into it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not something you choose. You don't have that kind of culture here in America. But one of the stories that is mentioned in the book kind of talks about that, where the father was supporting a team that wasn't very popular. So he has a whole life of, just downs, not ups and downs, just downs. Like, so he wanted a better life for his son. So he told his son, this is the team that you're going to support. It's not going to be my team. It's going to be this other team. That way you know what it's like to win. So when you're watching a game, you can feel joy instead of just feeling disappointment and sadness all the time. So that's what the father wanted for his son.
I wonder if that's how Mets fans feel.
I would say I would say in the U.S. you can do that more.
Listen to what? She
My
spoke the
uncle
truth.
is a lifelong Mets fan, and every time I just look at him like, "Are you sure, man?"
Yeah, because at times it's something you don't choose, right? It's like I'm from Queens, therefore I support the Mets,
Exactly.
or I'm from the Bronx, I support the Yankees.
Or
it's
I'm
kind
from
of
literally anywhere, and I support the Yankees.
Yeah, I know that.
Basically.
That happens for like
The Mets
soccer.
had one good year, and it was in the 70s.
No, 86. They won in 86,
Yeah,
actually.
86.
Oh my
So
god.
anyway, going back to, I guess, the story. Yeah, the father wanted a better life for his son. So he said, support this club that actually wins. You won't be disappointed all your life. And so when the two teams were up against each other, they were watching on TV. The father and the son were on the couch, and they were watching. And then when, of course, the better team scores, which is his son's team, he tells him, "Go ahead, son. You can cheer. It's fine. I'm not cheering. Obviously, he's upset that his team is losing. But the son is like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then they score again." And so it's like, okay, the son is obviously doing well, but he's kind of like looking at his dad, and he's kind of like not really celebrating as much. Like he's like a little happy, but not totally celebrating. And then by the time the second half comes around, the worser team, the father's team, actually does score a goal. And then he sees his son, who like moves a little more forward in his seat. He's looking at the TV. He's kind of like more interested in that. And the father's kind of like looking at him weird. And then by the time it's the end of the 90 minutes, they lose, of course. The father's team loses. And he looks at his son, it's like, "Oh, you should be happy about it." So the son doesn't say anything. He just goes away to his room. And then the father passes by his room later. He hears him crying. He's like, "Why is my son crying?" But he doesn't go into his room or anything. And then the mom goes over to the father. He's like, "What's going on there?" He's like, "I don't know." But he realizes why he's crying, because he supports his father's team no matter what. Even if his father is like, "This is the team you're going to support." Now, he inherited that team. And I think that's like a huge deal. And it's kind of like, it's so generational. It's so part of you. I guess in certain cultures that it's just like, you can't break away from it. And I thought that was a really good story. I haven't finished all of them, but like the other ones have like the kind of a similar gist. Like, your team is your life, your teammates, like obviously from a male point of view. So he's like the lifelong bonds you make with your teammates, who you play with in school and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's really
That's
good.
pretty cool.
I'm loving it so
is.
far. So
Yeah.
recommended.
Yeah, that's cool. It also reminds me very briefly that like my mom loved sports more than I did. So like she was always the one who was more excited when like my college was doing well in basketball.
Yeah.
Because in the Philippines it's basketball. But yeah, like she was the one who was more excited about it. She was the one who got me tickets to like one of the things. Like, listen, I'll go to a sports game if I'm given tickets. I will not seek it out.
Yeah. So she didn't force it on you.
She
or
didn't
anything
force
like
it on me,
that.
but I could tell she very dearly wished I had more school spirit.
Yeah.
Or spirit in general.
Just watch some sports.
That's funny.
Watch some sports, it'll do you good.
Yeah. Like my sister's kind of the same. She doesn't really follow that much soccer, but like when my dad's watching something, I'm there with him all the time. We're always watching together. So yeah, I got it from him.
I come from I never played sports, but I have 3 older brothers, and one was a wrestler, not WWE, obviously. One did basketball and one did football, so I was always like dragged to these places. Did I look like someone who does
No,
sports?
that's fair.
So do you think you hated it because your brothers were all into it, and it was kind of like this is
It's
their
not that
thing,
I
and
hate
I'm
it.
not
It's just like
part of
You
it?
just
I
had
could-
no interest.
I
in
had
it.
no interest. I loved them and I supported them, and I liked being like the little sister who got to see them and got to see them win. Because my brother who used to do wrestling, he was like nationally ranked. So like
Wow.
I like to brag, and my oldest brother, who did basketball, he is a referee now, and a coach.
Ooh.
So he's pretty awesome in that field as well. My football brother, my middle oldest brother, he kind of focused more on like the music. He did both music, but I think his real passion was music. So he played the saxophone. So it's just nice to like see them, like go and support them. But I still won't watch a game on TV. I think I would rather see it in person. And if I'm going to see it in person, I would rather it be either like soccer / football or hockey, because one is shorter, and two, I feel like the vibes are just better, and the seats are more comfortable.
So I mean, it's true. Like I don't watch like sports on TV, but if somebody gave me a ticket, hell yeah, I'm going.
The vibe is definitely different.
Depends on, because I won't do American football, because I will just be asking questions and be so annoyed. I'm like, why they're stopping? What's going on?
So we need Dora the Explorer.
Exactly.
I have something stupidly relevant that I just laughed with Chris about fairly recently.
The Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
Whoa.
Well, yes, tangentially related. I found somebody on Instagram recently who basically said, if any of you are wondering what the camera is focusing on that's taking away from our weekly rom-com with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, that is football. And I'm here to tell you what it is so you can understand. I had never understood football in my life until that lady on Instagram explained it to me, and it was the best thing I've ever heard.
Oh, that's so funny.
The best way I've ever heard football explained in my entire life.
No, it was pretty good. Like, it was nice, simple, direct,
Oh, wow, I gotta check that out. I mean, I understand most of the gist of the game, but
I know
wild Swift's impact to bring people into...
And I have no interest of knowing it.
I think that's the big difference.
Technically, I was flying back from LA when the Super Bowl was happening. I forget that it was, because it was starting at 3 in Vegas, because it was Vegas, aka like California time. But in my brain, I'm like, it starts at 6 because it always starts at 6 in New York.
That's true.
Time zones are real, people.
The curvature of the Earth is real, and time changes alongside it.
I was like, oh my god. The concept of time, and it goes back to the concept of time is not real, but it goes back to like New Year's when you're like, oh, people on the other side of the world are already living in 2024.
I know, like Australia, they're like, hey, yeah, it's 2024. I was like, no, it's
not for us.
Like, we have a whole 12 hours.
It blows every like prediction of the world will end in this year like out of the water every time I think about it. Like, will Australia get to the end of the world first? Let's find out in the next 12 hours.
Could you imagine that's how that worked?
The destruction of the Earth will occur over 24 hours, starting from Australia.
Just like bit by bit.
It's like, oh no.
Like, well, the sun flares, because when the Earth does end, the sun flares is what's going to get us, and it's going to have to. Hopefully, it gets Australia.
I'll tell you, as long as it's quick, I'm good.
See, no, but that's the point. If it starts in one place, you're gonna start hearing news about it for like 12 hours beforehand.
The anxiety.
Exactly, the anxiety is gonna get you before the actual.
I'm like, well,
you know, I'm gonna take a trip to Australia then. It's like, just take me out first.
Oh my god.
If everything like alongside me was going to be destroyed at the exact same time, I would feel better about death.
That is true.
I will have nothing to leave behind and nothing to worry about in the future.
That is actually true, to be honest.
Yeah.
And with that, we're gonna move on.
Please.
But wait, I have something I wanted to say. Sorry, no, not about the end of the world.
We love that topic.
No, but it was
Next
like to
time.
talk about like generational, like you inherit something, and I think it, like for me it was a little bit different and a lot longer, because like for my family in the West Indies is cricket. And it took me a while, because it was a visit to Antigua where I watched it with my mom, and she explained to me the game of cricket, and that's how I fell in love with it, because she, even though she'll like football, she loves cricket more, and it is more popular in the West Indies compared to football and stuff. So I think for me in that instance, it was like it took me a while because growing up, I like you said, like I grew up in the Bronx. You like the Yankees, like that's, and I also lived by Yankee Stadium and grew up there. So you just accepted like, oh, you like the Yankees, but I didn't really. I like baseball, but it was okay.
You don't follow it.
I don't follow it as much. To this day, I've never been to a baseball game, but I do understand the concept. I don't think I ever want to go to a baseball game because
it's not bad. I'll tell you.
Yeah, but they can go into extra innings, and that scares me. that scares me because I'm like, I don't want to.
You can leave whenever you want.
Most people do.
Yeah,
they leave by the 4th and 5th inning.
Yeah,
especially if one team already has like a 3-point lead.
That's how it was.
Yeah,
everybody's
but
just like out.
Yeah, but sometimes they can like be 0-0 from like until the 8th inning.
Oh no, you leave
That
by
would
the
be
7th.
an exciting game then.
No, because that happened one
kind of-
time. I think with the
They're
Yankees,
evenly
they were
matched.
playing against someone, and they were in 15 innings, and no one still scored.
Damn.
I mean,
Yeah.
Is there a limit actually in baseball?
No,
I think there
I
is,
don't-
right? Like if they hit a certain inning and it's still tied.
I think no, they're supposed to be. I think, and I don't remember what that is, but or I can't remember if it takes effect only when it's like a playoff game.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, if it's just like a regular game, I think
They just keep going.
They just keep going until someone scores because it's not like in soccer where there's a set.
I think
Yeah,
that
there's a
happened
set.
during a World Series one time.
Yeah.
like years ago.
Yeah,
like
they were like, no, we have
decade
to.
ago.
We have to cut this off. So yeah, I wanted to mention that because
A decade ago was not that. It's probably not what you're remembering.
Probably. Well, maybe
What
20
is time?
years ago.
What is
There
time?
you
What
go.
I don't
is
understand.
time?
No, but I really like that. I like that you can connect with your mother.
Yeah.
through
Yeah,
cricket.
it was-
something she loves.
exactly, and it took because I guess she felt that she couldn't do it when I was younger because cricket isn't. It's becoming popular now because I know they're having the T20 here in New York, but it is still not as popular as American football.
Yeah.
So it's still like growing, and it's more popular in Europe, in Asia, in the West Indies. So she probably felt that she couldn't connect me with, like relate it to me as much. But when she explained it to me, I loved it. I was like, oh my god, this is so exciting! So
I'd be
amazing.
down to go to a cricket game.
It's a lot of fun, but a limited overs game because it can be like baseball.
Hours and days, right?
Yeah, because it's a difference between a test match or limited overs. Limited overs is like the max is 20, so each side has 20 overs or 20 balls, and then they have that amount of time to get the most runs, or based on how many overs. Like or balls they did based on those runs. So a test match can be fun, but that can run for a couple of days. And a limited over games, that's
No,
just
thank
one
you.
day. Yeah,
Never mind, I changed it.
Not even the 1 day game.
No.
it's a,
A
lot
good
of
barbecue,
fun.
some
You
food, a beer. I don't know.
see, like if you watch a game, especially with India is like one
Yeah,
of the best cricket
massive
teams.
there.
Yeah,
If it goes over days, do they just leave the balls where they are?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually sounds
so yeah,
fun,
because
yeah.
it's based on the light of the day. So
Yeah.
it has to be bright.
Oh.
If it's cloudy or raining, they have to stop playing. And then they have up to a certain time. Usually, I want to say like 4:00. If it still isn't light, then they're like, okay, we have to wait until the next day.
Okay. So it sounds like baseball mixed with bocce mixed with golf.
Yeah.
Totally. I see that. I see
Yes.
that.
Okay.
Now we can go on to the next topic.
So our next topic is, so we talked about what we've read. So let's talk about what we're watching, or what we can't get through. And first up, we have Evelyn and I will be talking about Shogun. Shogun is on Hulu, well, FX Hulu, and it's about this European Portuguese man who lands in Japan.
He's English.
Maybe the actor's
The actor is English, but I believe he's
No, he represents England. The
Does he?
Portuguese are already in the
thing.
place. Yeah,
he's
so-
representing the Dutch. Is
Oh,
what it
okay.
is.
Hmm.
Because he has. So the story starts
You're
off.
watching very different things. It
He
sounds
talked
like.
about his queen. And
Yes, he is English.
he's English.
But,
But-
the Dutch do have a queen.
No, but I think
Wait,
he was
do they?
referring to
I
the
think they
English
do.
queen.
Huh.
Well, not now because I think
Not obviously, but
she
back
abdicated.
No, he was
They
talking
had
about
a-
London
Okay, you know
specifically.
what?
He was talking. Wait, are you caught up with the most recent episode?
I did
Whitney?
not watch this week's episode.
So he talked about his hometown, London. He was
Yeah.
like saying,
Oh, okay,
so-
there you go.
Specifically, his hometown of London.
So where I
Yeah.
got confused was he left his family because of course a man would leave his family to be a pirate.
Yes.
And he stole Dutch money.
No, look, that's just the plot of Assassin's Creed 4.
This is based on a true story, by the way.
It's based off of, like-
based on a book.
Oh, I believe
based
it.
on
Based
a true
on a
story.
book,
Yes. So the book was written way back when. I want to say maybe 2000 or
I don't remember the year.
1975
Thank you.
by James Clavell.
Yeah.
Thank
That's what I
you.
was wondering. I'm like,
Yes.
is this the James Clavell
Yes, it
Shogun?
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
So it's
That's
the
what it
Shogun,
is.
and so he lands in
His
Japan.
name is Blackthorn.
Blackthorn, and
Yes.
he's based off of like some guy named William Adams.
Yep, that's correct.
Awesome. So I got
Apparently,
that
I've
part
now
right.
been promoted to fact checker.
I kind of love that.
And you can't see our setup, but we have Chris and Tessa with their laptops open as we record this.
She's looking at pens.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Busted.
No. 2 seconds ago, I was on the page for for Goodreads to check on a summary.
Sure
alright?
you were.
Yeah.
Command Shift
And-
T on that.
Command Shift T. Yes.
But yes, you are correct.
Yes.
It is,
So
Sabrina's bringing our laptop.
it's giving. I thought having no knowledge of like the book going or the show too much going into it, I thought it was just going to be some Last Samurai BS, but it actually is really good, and he immerses himself in like the Japanese culture. He like learns like their ways and how. But it's funny to me how they think that the Japanese are savages, but he doesn't bathe regularly.
Yeah. He gets offended when they tell him to
track
do.
actually, because they like the Europeans weren't bathing daily at that time.
Yeah, I think that probably does make sense.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but he was like, well, if you.
I know it does.
They
It's
told
very
him he
strange.
stinks.
Yes, they told him he
They
stinks.
told him he stinks.
He stinks, and it's like, oh well. He's like, well, I guess his thought is if he bathes more than once a month, he's gonna get sick. But I'm just like, you're sick because you're not bathing, friend.
Yeah. I guess the science of the day was don't bathe too much because you're gonna.
Yeah,
get
because you're gonna
sick.
like scrape off something that's
Yeah.
making you invulnerable.
Yeah,
But-
the weird. It was the weird belief of the time, truly, and that's also why like Europe fell to the Black Plague.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think 1600 the year we're talking.
This is
Yeah,
1600s.
1600.
Yeah. So it's a lot of political intrigue. You know how the Portuguese, because colonialism and imperialism, are like, yes, we're gonna split Japan with. I want to say the Dutch, or was it England too?
No, well, he's against the Portuguese completely. Like he doesn't.
Right,
want them
but
there at all,
but he found their papers, and it's basically a treaty between the Portuguese and some other European country about splitting the proceeds of being in Japan. I'm like, this is a whole nation already with honor and like.
You can't prove that.
Oh my god.
Like, I mean, in Japan.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I never even knew the Portuguese made it to Japan and tried to colonize over there. I had no idea.
Oh, there was.
I never heard of that.
Yeah.
So this was new to me, and like that trying to convert people. Obviously, they're big Catholics, so they're
Yeah.
trying to convert people there.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't think
There
Catholicism
was-
is big in Japan, so that probably didn't go over
But
too
he's.
well.
No, it isn't. But like, there was definitely like a small movement. In I cannot remember the time period anymore. But there was actually like, if I recall correctly, as a man-made island that all foreign ships could dock at in order to keep foreign things from entering Japan. Unfortunately, like in that same area is the oldest Catholic church in Japan, so that island didn't do its job very well.
I see.
Yeah, it's within the same area. I do not have the facts to hand at the moment.
Right.
I think.
Chris, get on it.
Yes,
No.
get on it. I think why I was thinking he was Portuguese is because when he's speaking to the lady Mariko.
Mariko, yeah.
Yeah, she's speaking Portuguese.
Yeah, I think there's she has to be the translator for him at times. So
Yes.
So yeah, no, you're right. It is like the Portuguese are in Japan at the same time as this English sailor who is sailing for the Dutch.
Yes.
So that's probably why I haven't seen the show, so I couldn't tell you.
I highly recommend it. It's beautifully done.
Oh, yeah.
It has
Odaiba, yeah.
the
No, not Odaiba.
actor who saw the third John Wick.
I want to say yes. I look, no, here's the problem. I saw the second one and the third one at the same time.
Oh.
Because I missed the second one when it originally came out. And then
Is the third one the one with Halle Berry in it?
No, that's the second one.
It's Parabellum. No, Parabellum is the third one.
It's the second one.
So maybe I didn't see the third one.
Either way, so if you did see the third one, John Wick goes to Tokyo for the Tokyo version of the Continental, and the guy who runs that is also in this show. I forget. I want to say it's like Noru something or like Nobunaga. It's not Nobunaga. It might be Nobunaga.
The names, there's a lot of names to learn.
There's a lot of names
I
to
haven't
learn.
gotten it
But
down pat either.
he plays the shogun, essentially. It's just beautifully done. Again, I thought it was going to be like some white savior BS, like The Last Samurai, but it's actually more about the Japanese people than, and like, yes, he's there as, you know, integrating into this Japanese society, or Blackthorn is there integrating into this Japanese society. But it has strong female characters, a lot of espionage, it's political intrigue, and again, just the costume is great, the set is amazing, so I just highly recommend it.
Nice.
So it's Lord Toranaga.
No, but who's the actor that plays him?
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yes. I knew he was like a daimyo in way back in the day.
Sanada was like the original Sanada was, but Hiroyuki Sanada is the actor. No?
Yeah, Hiroyuki Sanada is the actor.
He's
yes.
famous.
He's just amazing.
He's
he has
extremely
interesting
good.
roles.
Oh, apparently he was in The Last Samurai.
Ah.
The actor. He played a character in The Last Samurai.
Okay. So
I am going to fix a mistake.
Basically.
So I found the island I was talking about. It's the artificial island of Dejima. Dejima served as Japan's only window to Europe from the time of construction in 1636 to the closing of the Dutch factory in 1859.
So I think they mentioned that island because it was in the show, because it was filled with like converts who were kind of being trained as assassins or like warriors, and then they had a cache of like weapons and like gunpowder and all of that. Ooh. So I think that was
that may have been
I think that was the island that they're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know if they actually called it like
this island specifically.
Yes,
yeah,
but that's like, what they name it.
The wild part is, and this is why I was kind of laughing about it, was because like Dejima is like close to Nagasaki, and Nagasaki is where the one of the oldest churches in Catholicism in Japan is. So it's kind of ironic that it was that island was there to prevent foreign concepts entering Japan, and yet still within Japan you have that Catholic Church still standing.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Catholicism in East Asia, like I get it.
Yeah.
It's just so
it's a mixed bag.
Odd to me.
Yeah, that's why I didn't even have a clue that it reached there.
Oh yeah,
it
did.
There's
it absolutely did.
There are some who follow Catholicism there.
Or at the very least Christianity.
Yeah. Christianity or Catholicism.
Oh, dude, the amount of like Korean Christian churches
that
in
I knew
Jackson
about.
Heights
That,
is insane.
yeah, the Korean Christians, I didn't know about the Japanese Catholics for sure.
There's
So
one
that's
near
why
my
it's just
family's as well.
Insane.
It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say what I like about the show is that it's almost like 90% in Japanese, so you have to read subtitles. So.
Nice.
And I like that it's apparently the previous TV series from the 70s or 80s, yeah, with Chamberlain was more focused on him as opposed to the Japanese. So
wow.
I haven't seen it. I've heard it's good. I've heard it's actually good.
I haven't watched it, but there's this HBO Max show called Tokyo Vice where it is mostly white guy focused, and I have no interest in that.
It's like, come on.
Even
that's
though,
not
like,
the draw.
It's never the draw.
What was the criticism on Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift? Like, white guy goes to Japan, everybody loves him.
Exactly.
That's fantasy.
And he like takes over as the boss of drifting.
Oh yeah, he becomes the
That's
Drift
sad.
King.
It's problematic, but I did like it.
Oh, I love that. I love Tokyo Drift because it is the last Fast and Furious movie that really just does not take itself seriously.
I just know the beat, the song.
Oh, that was the Tokyo Drift theme song was my ringtone for like
Oh, yeah.
20, and then NCT song came out, and now it's a different. It's a different one. It's a different one. I changed it for the first time in like 20 years of having this same.
For NCT.
Oh, after so many
NCT.
like lost phones, I stopped putting in custom ringtones.
I still have custom
Had to.
ringtones. I have a custom ringtone for my mother.
Look, also my phone is constantly on vibrate. There is no
I have a
thing.
custom
Same.
ringtone for you, and it's still on vibrate.
When I have even though my phone is on vibrate, if I have my headphones
Headphones,
in a
yes.
ring,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, do I want to pick it up or do I want to dance? But let's get on to our next show, and this is Tabrija's pick, and it's Death in Paradise on
Yes.
BritBox.
Yes. So, if for our listeners who do not know what BritBox is, and hopefully after hearing this, they'll
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but hopefully they will sponsor us. So, BritBox is a collaboration between BBC and ITV, but mostly now BBC because BBC bought most of its stake in BritBox, purchased it from ITV. These are two British channels in the UK. They came together to collaborate to create a streaming service called BritBox that's mostly shows exclusive British TV. So stuff that is aired on BBC or ITV, it will come over onto, most of the time, it will come over onto BritBox. So Death in Paradise is a very popular cozy crime drama series. It's a cozy crime drama series the main premise is it has an English detective who comes to this tropical island, the fictional tropical island, San Marie, and he is the head of this police department, and they solve the many crimes that that their team comes across. So it is now in its 13th season. Because
A British show having 13
I know it
seasons?
is very rare.
Consistently?
Exactly.
Who's the lead
So
actor?
the detective keeps changing. So the first two seasons it was Ben Miller, and then the third, fourth,
Chris Marshall.
Yes, thank you, Chris Marshall. And then after seasons 6 through 9, it was the Irish actor Ardal O'Hanlon, and now it is Ralph Little, who was a footballer.
It's giving Doctor Who.
So yeah, now it's with Ralph Little, and he's amazing. He's so gorgeous. Oh my god. But it is, it is in its 13th season, and I think they're going to celebrate their 100th episode. They have aired so far about 6 episodes. They just have 2 more to go. But it is always a show that keeps constantly being renewed. They also have a spin-off with Chris Marshall, his character, Beyond Paradise, where Chris Marshall, his character, D.I. Humphrey, came back to England with his fiancée, and they're in her hometown in the UK, and he's the detective inspector there, and he's also solving crimes there. So it's like a great... Death in Paradise is a really great laid-back, cozy crime drama that if you just want something like to entertain you, and it's very quirky and it's interesting, and you just have like it has like a fish out of water kind of vibe, and it's just like a very entertaining show. always excited when they say like, oh yes, it's coming back, it's being renewed. I think BBC will never let it go because they're like, this is our one staple. It makes us a lot of money and a lot of people love it, because they're also having another spin-off in Australia. So
Is Australia a paradise?
I know.
Where everything
Debatable.
can kill you.
Well, no, it's being filmed off of a beachside hamlet of Dolphin Cove.
Yep.
So it sounds like it might actually be.
Exactly. So yeah.
So the scenery is a draw too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and because even though the island is fictional, I think it's filmed most of the time on Guadeloupe.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's like a British-French drama, so it's a collaboration between the UK and France.
Which is the actor that was in? I only know one of them being in Love Actually. One of the detectives. I can't. It was the tall ginger one, I think.
Chris Marshall.
Okay, so yeah, he was in Love Actually as one of the idiot friends that go to America.
Chris Marshall.
Yeah.
Incredibly funny.
He's great, but that is like his staple kind of character that he plays. But
So is it the same island and they just have detectives, or is it like supposed to be different islands?
No, it's the same island. They just keep changing the detectives. The one like there's
Is it the same name or just changing the detectives?
No, so it's different detectives, and it seems like their stories wrap up and they leave the island, so another detective comes over to take over.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it.
Except, they're not
Doctor
dead and reborn.
Yeah, exactly.
So my question is, the island doesn't change.
The island doesn't, no.
So just crime just keeps happening on this island. This is just lost.
Look, no, you don't think about it.
It's like Murder, She Wrote, because you have so much crime in this like little
Hamlet.
hamlet of Cabot Cove.
That's what I'm thinking too. I was definitely
Sometimes
thinking
New
Murder,
York.
She Wrote. I was definitely thinking the lines of Murder, She Wrote. Like, does Jessica Fletcher just attract crime? Do the detectives
Or does she
in this area
commit
just
the
attract
crime? That is a weird one.
Well,
That's a possible
That's a different
podcast episode.
no, but that's the thing. Like, that's the whole argument with Batman too. Is there more crime in Gotham because of Batman, or
Exactly.
I mean, I feel like with Saint Marie, it's because I think it's a popular travel destination site. So a lot of the crimes are due to people who are coming into Saint Marie.
I see what you're saying.
It's not like a lot of it's like, oh, it's between the locals. You really don't get, if it's crime committed by locals, it's this petty crime that's in the background and it's somehow connected to the main center of the case. Gotcha. But a lot of the time is like, because a lot of the people in like, what I like about it has like a closed circle kind of crime. So you have this small group of people, and then the crime happens within this it's secluded area, and you don't know, and the detective is trying to figure out how did this impossible crime happen? Mm-hmm. Because like as a viewer, you are going along, it's like, wait, how did it happen? Like, it could have been a suicide or could have been natural causes, but then the detective on the case just blows it wide open, discovers a clue that you never would have thought of. So yeah,
I love that kind of mystery.
What's wild, the island has its own Wikipedia page.
Yep.
With like with like the history of it and like how their elections are going. Yeah, no, it's actually very detailed.
Yeah,
because for 13 years.
Yeah, for 13 years.
That's insane.
And then the creator of the show, Robert Thurgood, he's also an author. Mm-hmm. He's the author of the Marlowe Murder Club, which is also getting a series on PBS.
Oh.
It's going to be a masterpiece PBS series, so that's really exciting. So yeah, he's also an author and he's a creator of this series.
For as much as I love like a murder mystery, I do not watch enough BritBox or British shows surrounding.
BritBox is amazing. It was a godsend.
Not a sponsor.
I know, but they don't have Sherlock.
That's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Yeah, I think it's.
We've all seen it.
Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. Yes, they do.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, they
Take that
didn't.
back.
And then they bought the rights back,
okay.
and because I think they were waiting for it to expire because PBS had them, and then they had to let it expire. Because that was the same with Death in Paradise. It was on Netflix, and then they had to wait until it expired on Netflix, and then they were able to buy it so they can put it and create BritBox.
Makes sense.
So we're gonna jump just for the sake of time, but if we go over, it's also fine. But we're gonna jump to Dune because that has been all over the place, all over my social feeds.
Has anyone seen it besides myself?
No.
I'll let you guys
No.
talk about this because
No,
it's
Why
fantasy.
not? That's my first question. Why have you all not
My
seen
only
Dune
genre
Part
of Timothy
2?
Chalamet is being yelled at by Saoirse Ronan, and that's the only way I will consume Timothy Chalamet.
It's not about. I'll tell you what. It's not about Timothy Chalamet at all.
Yeah, but he's
I
in
know.
there, and that's her
Dune
problem.
is not. He is so secondary to me.
No, it's
in
and it's
this.
fair because of the story, how the story of Dune runs.
Yeah.
All I know is that his son becomes a worm, and I just
What?
see,
Spoilers.
This is
No, that's like 2 books in.
why I'm like no to because like this is high fantasy, and I'm like I can't do
This
it.
is technically
Sci-fi.
sci-fi.
Come on, this is
Sci-fi.
sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are not making your case any
No.
stronger.
On the record, Tabrisha doesn't like sci-fi.
Yeah,
In
I
general,
understand.
so-
I
Yeah.
understand that completely.
It's
So-
not her.
Here's the thing. I actually have no interest in Dune.
Why?
Same.
I have no.
Have you read the book?
No, and
I'm
I don't
shocked
want
that
to.
you, as a fantasy
Yeah,
sci-fi
fantasy
guy,
person.
has not read Dune.
I have no interest in reading Dune, and I could not tell you why.
I read the first 2 chapters of Dune.
I have not read it at all.
I watched
Once
the
you read the
first
first 2
movie.
chapters of Dune, you will understand.
I
And
heard
I
you have
didn't
to
get it.
slog through more than that before, and which is annoying because I feel like a book should grab you within the first 100 pages.
Yeah, a lot of the books that were done in the 60s, 70s, and into a little bit of the 80s did not care.
Yeah, it's wild because like here's the thing. I will acknowledge that Dune is like a what's the word for it? It's like
A touchstone?
a touchstone, an establishment.
Massive.
Yeah, a massive
Massive
cultural
book.
touchstone for science fiction in general.
It is.
For a lot of people, it's the biggest science fiction book like ever.
Truly.
And me speaking for myself, I reached the fear is the mind killer bit, and I said that's it. That's all I needed to see.
And you're like, I'm not into it.
And it's a lot of it feels like it's it kind of feels like a slog. Let's be real. A lot of it feels like a slog, and because of the way it was written, I do not know if I can bring myself to care about the characters and the reason for like this story existing.
Yeah, as someone who's seen like Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2, it makes me want to actually try to read it. I don't remember if I did try to read it in the first place. I know it's massive, like it's a thick ass book.
It's also got like
It's-
10 other books in the series or
It's
something like that.
20 books.
yeah, no,
And
but
still going.
no,
'Cause
so
his son is writing for some of it, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Kristen
Yeah.
Herbert, yeah.
I mean, but it's like one of those things that's probably on your list along with War and Peace and all this kind of stuff.
Brian
That's like
Herbert.
it's
Brian
in the
Herbert.
background. I'll get to it eventually, maybe not soon. But I will say, Dune Part 2, I did see it in the theater. So if you want a visual masterpiece, you have to see it.
I've
in the
heard
theater.
that it's visually stunning.
Yes.
It is visually stunning, and honestly, what more can you want? To be honest, because with the caliber of movies that you get in the past few years, when can you say that, oh wow, that movie was so great to look at? Because we were talking in the last episode about how all the Marvel stuff is so CG.
Yeah.
It's such a turn off. This one, like, although it does, I'm sure, obviously it uses some CG, you feel like you're in another world.
I understand that.
So
is fair.
it's just like so arresting just visually.
Sorry. For me, when it comes to sci-fi, I tend to like more, like, say, like Asimov. So,
Fountainhead.
iRobot, Fountainhead, stuff like that. Or if it's going to be in space, I prefer it to just either be something like, Star Wars, the giant sprawling space opera that it is, or Firefly, where it's a Western.
Space Western.
Space Western. For some odd reason, Dune to me just never attracted me, but I know more or less the references for it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just like, I'm okay. I don't need to see this.
Yeah, it's kind of the same for me because like there's 2 parts to this. I have fully understood that my preference is science fantasy. So space wizards a la Star Wars. The other half is like, if I want to see sand for a long period of time, I would either watch Star Wars or I would watch Mad Max Fury Road.
Which
I love Mad
beautiful.
Max Fury Road.
But
Fury Road is great.
yeah, no,
You get the same vibe in Dune Part 2, to be honest.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
true.
Like
If you watch
visually,
it, I know you guys haven't watched it, but there is some stuff in there that's very little
Do
bit
we,
Mad
I feel like I would
Max.
have to justify watching part 2 by watching part 1.
Yeah, that's the only problem, I guess.
Yeah.
But I have to say, Hans Zimmer doing the soundtrack
Hans Zimmer I
with the
respect.
visual masterpiece.
Yeah.
You can't ask for anything more. The actors, whatever, they're there. They've served their purpose. But as far as the director and the music and the cinematography,
I'll give it that.
100% beautiful. And
I'm happy to give Dune the credit of like visually stunning.
Because
Yeah.
you don't see that anymore, and especially when you go into the theater. So that's like it was really impactful for me.
Yeah.
Like the whole, it's
yeah.
a long movie, but it felt like nothing
Did you
because
see it
I'm
in
just like,
IMAX? Or-
no, I didn't because IMAX because sometimes it's a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
But I heard they were all sold out to the point where
no, I believe it.
they
yeah.
had like a 3:15 a.m. showing, and there was an article written about it. Like, who would see Dune at 3:15 a.m.? Well, people who couldn't get tickets for earlier in the day, I guess. So they opened up more tickets, and people were there, and they're like, I have to see it because it's a visual.
I gotta know what the audience count was on the 3:15 showing.
Apparently, the guy said it was almost full. Yeah,
Whoa!
almost full for him.
His son turns into a giant space worm.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler. Like, I don't know.
So when Dune came out, the first one, I'll wait till it gets to HBO Max or whatever to watch the second one on a day when I don't have to pay attention. But I went through a wiki hole and I read all of the synopses of all of the books because you could do that.
Get?
I got to the point where he turned into a giant space worm and married his sister for political reasons, and that's when
Spoilers
like
for the rest of the Dune.
I know.
it's a book that's been. I mean, yes, they just published a book back in like 2022, 2023, but it's a series that's been out for like 20, 30 years. It's fine. If you haven't read it now and you're just going to watch the movie, then that's on you.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about the movie here. I have not read the book, so I think judging the movie is separate from judging the book.
Absolutely.
At this point.
Yeah.
So when you read the synopsis, it almost has nothing to do with the movie. How do you know it's in there?
I think, so from what I've heard and like the synopsis and like commentary, it is pretty true to the book as much as you can with.
That's interesting, actually.
As much as you can be with. It's not a hero's journey, and the whole point of the book is.
Curiously, though,
Don't
I
read that.
did find
this
out about the 3:15 showing. Apparently, it was sold out.
Yeah, that's because everyone wants to see it. It's visually, it's stunning, and that's like
And
the
I'm
highest
just like,
selling
you know
point
what?
for it.
Fair, absolutely fair.
It's the highest selling point for it. Yeah, can't speak for the books, but visually, it's a masterpiece.
I don't know. I was just like, this is. If it just stopped at the 6 books, it's fine. But now you're like reading the other ones, or reading the other ones, quote
The
unquote.
other ones are coming out. That's what it is.
And
I've
it's
heard
just
most
like
don't read beyond the first book, though.
I think
I
that's
haven't heard about anything beyond this, so I don't think it's like something
It's
you have
kind
to.
of like Ender's Game, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
everybody
right?
knows Ender's Game,
Right?
but there's really like 5 other books.
Yeah,
in the series.
why?
I'm just having so much fun listening to you guys because I'm just like,
Yeah, you just.
once,
The problem with Ender's Game is the author, so that's a
Absolutely.
whole other story.
oh,
We're not getting into that.
we're not getting into
No.
that.
We will not.
We're cutting that.
But
Do your own research.
and so lastly in this media thing, Chris is going to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender and the craziness that if it's good, I have no real desire to see
I
Okay,
it.
have
so
no desire to see it.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
They did what they could with the 8 episodes they were given. That
That's
being
all I needed to
said,
know.
that being said, no, just no.
This is my frustration about with Avatar: The Last Airbender, because it's like, okay, yes, the M. Night Shyamalan movie was a disaster.
Horrific.
I didn't even
It was
see that
horrific.
one.
Yes.
What
I
movie?
forced my. Yeah.
Right, one movie. Yes, it was terrible. But I feel like people are missing like the big major thing. It was based on a cartoon. The cartoon was fine. The cartoon is beautifully done. It has the story, the animation, everything. So when you're trying to make a cartoon into live action, it's gonna be a disaster they should have just made a movie out of like a continuation after Avatar, the last
they made like a completely different.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to be fair, after Avatar: The Last Airbender, you go into the comic book series, and then we have Legend of Korra, which was the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and which is also equally good as well. So I feel like, why are you keep beating something that the medium is fine? It's beautifully done. You have books, you have the TV show. It is great.
Money, dear boy.
I know. I know. And it also says something when two of the creators
Bounced.
stepped away. Exactly, they stepped away. They were like, "No, we can't do this anymore."
Yeah.
That says something.
It does
It
frustrate.
truly does.
It does frustrate me that like some of the statements that came out like about the direction they were taking for the Last Airbender live action was that like, oh, we want to go darker, grittier. We want to get the Game of Thrones fans.
Aww.
And I will say they delivered their promise on literally dark and Game of Thrones, because there were several episodes where you couldn't see what was happening because of how dark it was.
Yeah, no. So again, apparently I am the only person who's watched the entire series.
It's only 8 episodes.
It's only 8 episodes that are an hour long.
What?
Painful.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they were trying to cram in as much of the series as they could and failed to deliver on
So
that.
is it based off book 1, which is the Fire
Yeah,
Nation?
it's all book 1. But they switched so many things around and left out a lot of like key things, all in the sense of like trying to truncate the storytelling, where it just does not work. And
do you think it would work for someone who's never seen the cartoon?
So that's what I was gonna say. It works in the same way that the Cowboy Bebop live adaptation works, which is I felt it was great as long as you've never seen the original show. I think
Which no one who's watching this is not going to have seen it.
Exactly. But that's my point. It's good as long as you have no
context
for anything going on, because the animation, the CGI that they use is actually really good. The lighting was an issue, but that seems to be just the norm whenever people are doing fantasy these days. The acting could have been better, but these are also kids.
Yeah.
These are literal children. So I'm like, that's fine. They're doing the best they can with the direction they're given. But the essential characterizations are changed, swapped around, and it's...
It is, but that is the thing with like live action adaptations that come from like cartoons or long running shows, because not only do you have to make the source material like either short enough to fulfill like your whatever your runtime is, you also have to like take into account like you don't want a 1-to-1 adaptation of the original, because why would you watch the adaptation if you can just watch the original?
Well, that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to be watching the original because I can't.
Here's the thing. So the One Piece, and this is where I'm going to point to the One Piece adaptation.
I actually did see that.
It is beloved by the fans of the original, so clearly you can do it.
You can do something
and
right.
I think what helped a lot was... Sorry.
No, I'm just like, you can do something right, and then you can also like do something terrible.
Yeah. And I think what helped is the fact that the creator was so hands-on in it.
That's
different.
And really supported it. So, and then the cast has great chemistry with each other. Minimal controversy surrounding
that's
them.
good.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the cast, I feel Avatar already got renewed for the next two seasons
Because they have to.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That was the reason what they gave. Is they were like, we want to finish the story. Yeah. It's not because it's like, high viewership, even though Netflix doesn't like releasing the numbers. They were like, we want to complete the
And I'm like,
book.
that's more than they give to most of their other shows.
Exactly.
It's true,
So I'm just like, but hopefully, maybe they can actually make something of this if they follow like the One Piece formula at least.
Yeah. Or the Yu Yu Hakusho, because I watched the live action.
How was that?
I liked it.
No, my mom loved that show, and she's like, she had no idea what it was. She's just like, oh yeah, no, I found this. She loves sci-fi and fantasy. So she's just watching things randomly, and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, I saw this one where they had the big pants and everything." I'm like, "Yu Yu Hakusho?"
I cheered like to high heaven when I discovered that she was talking about Yu Yu Hakusho.
I loved it. I never watched. I didn't read it, and I didn't watch the original cartoon. So just going in like with no context, I enjoyed it, and I like finished it in one day. And they did kind of set it up if they wanted to, but I think it also had a pretty finite conclusion if it doesn't come back.
Yeah, there's a lot of the great thing about like I think the source material for Yu Yu Hakusho is like you can take it as like as just like a kid who seems to be like rough and tumble, who actually has a good heart, and like stop it there, or you could like take it further and like go further into his journey into the fighting tournament, and then you have like a full-blown series on your hands.
I think they do like the first fighting tournament.
Yeah. There's several arcs you can go into, I think, and I'm like and I think that's the way that like even the original Japanese was made it digestible in that way. Like there's a part where you can like stop and you'll be fine, but like I don't know, like I haven't seen the series yet. I want to watch it.
I recommend it if like you like the fantasy shonen style show. I think it's easy watching too. Even if you don't know the story or the source material, it's just like it's a kid, he dies, he fights ghosts and
awesome.
Battles like these monster non-human people, and like the special effects also aren't terrible either.
I would like to see it. I'm going to make a point to
make a point, and then we can talk about it.
Yes.
That's cool.
So we are all we all live in New York City. We kind of spoke a little bit about some rep, so we just kind of want to move into recommending a few places in New York City that you should go to. My bad.
Talk to them.
Yes, you can talk to them. True. Inanimate buildings and places. So, full disclosure, a lot of the places that I've discovered lately have been quote unquote TikTok famous, including this place called Bar Moga. It is in Soho. And the main reason why I want it, mostly why it's famous is because they have amazing cocktails. But the reason I went was obviously for the omurice, and it's made with chicken and veal, and it's with their little barbecue sauce gravy and that they pour over it. It's amazing. And then I got this, I went with a friend from work, and we shared like these Wagyu sliders, melt in your mouth. Amazing. I highly recommend it.
So what's funny is I thought the name looked familiar to me. This was recommended to me by a friend of mine because of the whiskey selection that they have.
Oh, the whiskey selection is good. They have a whiskey flight for $500.
Yeah,
he was like $500.
It's like premium Japanese whiskey.
Oh,
holy crap.
So, and also like the friend that recommended it to me does not care about money.
I wish I had that problem.
Yeah, I know,
I
same.
do wish I had that problem.
But yeah, no, that's why I was like, the name looks familiar, and I have not gone there yet.
It's very it's very like, it's elegantly designed, but it's very much a hole in the wall and very tight space. So like, don't go in there with a stroller or anything, but it's a really nice bar, and maybe that can be like a real book club spot on a day that we all get paid. But because I had like 2 or 3 cocktails and omurice and the Wagyu beef, and it was like the size of a domino, and I spent like $150, including tip. So
there you go.
But it's definitely worth the experience, and everything is like Instagrammable, obviously, photographable. So I highly recommend doing that. And I'm gonna skip really quickly, and then I'll go back to Tabrisha. But Tabrisha and I went to this Georgian place with our friend Adina from work / also a member of this
Fake book club.
It's a real
Part
Part of the
real
real
book
book
club.
club. The real
This
part of
fake
the real
one.
book club.
not part of the not part of the podcast, but she does join our book club, and she took us to this Georgian restaurant called Chama Mama, and they had like this egg dish. Don't ask me to pronounce it, but it's basically a bread bowl with cheese and egg, and it is the most delicious thing I've ever had in my life. And then whatever they call their dumplings was really good. And we like split that. I was still a little hungry later, but it was just a good amount of food to share.
You are all adding to my like Google.
I'm writing it all down.
And I think it's definitely a place that we can go to as like real book club, fake book club.
Where is this one again?
Where
It's
is it?
like on I want to say 23rd Street and 7th Avenue.
Oh, that's a good location.
Yeah,
'cause
it's not too far from like
not
Union
far
Square.
from the place that not 23rd, yeah, it's 14th, sorry, because it's not far from Dan and John Wings. If you go further down by the place where we went for my birthday,
yes.
it's not
Grace's.
it's like, yeah,
Got
Grace's,
it,
yeah,
got
it's
it.
not that far from there, yeah, and it was
Cool.
so good, yeah, like because I'm looking at their menu again, like the lamb stuffed grape leaves. Oh my god,
yes,
that
those
was
were
so good.
amazing.
And they had the sour cream at the side, and you just dip it. Oh my god, it was so good.
Let's go now, guys. Let's cut the show and just go.
I am starving.
Do it.
Actually.
I'm serious. I'm so serious.
Well, we only have like 2 more topics to go to,
That was
but
a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
it can be real. I'm also kind of hungry.
I
and
mean,
thank
after
you-
this, it will be time
Yes,
for dinner.
yes,
so.
exactly.
And also, you guys don't, you listeners at home can't see this, but we are in Evelyn's office, and there are free snacks here, so I will be partaking in some more before
I'm gonna also be
we
partaking.
leave.
Take it in your bag. Stuff your bags with stuff.
But considering that Tabrisha and I like to do a lot of eating together,
I've actually
They love to eat, guys.
I've actually
We
kind of
love
made
to
it
eat.
We
a
love to
point
eat.
this year to like try to get out more. So like I have been making a list of like all the cafes and places I'd like to go to.
I've been making a list of all the bars I want to go to.
Yeah.
Cocktail
I
bars.
need to start doing that because I know like my place is a place that I've talked to a lot and about a lot and shared on my social media. It's Tea and Sympathy. It is a British restaurant that is in Greenwich Village. It is a lovely place. I believe they celebrated 30 years of
Wow.
being
Been
here.
around.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been around. Yeah, it's been around a lot. It's a great place to have afternoon tea,
Wait.
and you also get like so many great British dishes. Like they have a chicken and leek pie, which is to die for. It is amazing. You have bangers and mash. You can get like coronation chicken sandwich. You get a lot of great British dishes. And then also if you go on Sunday, they do a Sunday roast dinner, which is also very good. And they have a great selection of tea. And then also right by the restaurant, because the restaurant is pretty small, but they do have outdoor seating. But right by the restaurant is their grocery store, and you can get a lot of like British groceries and also food for takeaway, and you can take some stuff home with you. And then also they own the fish and chip place that's right next to the grocery store as well. So they used to have like if you have the same menu, they would provide both. They would just go over to the fish and chip place and offer you the fish and chips, but I think they stopped doing that.
That's cool.
It's the British invasion all over again.
Exactly.
ladies and gents.
I wish I liked fish and chips. I just don't like beer battered fish.
I love beer
It
battered
makes me
fish.
so queasy.
It's because I get that because I don't eat it a lot because you're getting most of the batter and you're not getting the fish. And the batter is amazing, but you're filling yourself so much on the batter.
The greasy batter.
Yeah, and also on the chips that you're not getting much of the fish, and you end up wasting it, and it is a lot, but it is really really good. You have to have a completely empty stomach if you're gonna go in and eat, get an order of fish and chips.
I highly recommend the fish and chips from Oscar Wilde's though.
Ooh.
It's on 28th between 7 and 8, I want to say, like, or Broadway and like Broadway and 8
thereabouts.
So
it is 27th Street. West.
20, yes. So I highly recommend. It's such a kitschy place. It's Alice in Wonderland themed.
I've been,
Their cocktails are amazing. Their steak is amazing. So I definitely recommend going there. And around the corner, and then we can move on to Tessa and her recommendation. Around the corner is this ice cream place that's boozy ice cream.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I've been there. They give you like little containers of like ice cream with specific kinds of booze. Yes, I've been there.
And you do get a little. I was like, woo.
I was very. I got almost immediately like drunk. But also, I'm a lightweight, so like I'm gonna be real about my consumption.
Funny.
I keep every time I go that far because it's not too. It's maybe like a block or two away from the K-pop store that I like to go to. So I always threaten to go there, but forget. Yes, and then they next to the K-pop store they opened up like this Korean tteokbokki ramyeon arepas type place. It's not arepas, but they're not called arepas, but they are like cheese with like a inner side of a dough that they
That's
fry
so
up.
wild.
And
Delicious.
it looks like a coin.
Oh, the famous the coin
Yes.
thing. Yes. God, no. It's also on my Instagram like saves.
Yes.
So like it's one of the things I've been meaning to like try.
If you go during lunch, just don't anticipate getting out of there anytime soon. Well, unless you want like the coin disc thing, and that's relatively quick. But if you want them to make you like the ramyeon or the or like the tteokbokki or tteokbokki or whatever, just know you need some more time.
All right, that's noted.
And
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, but they opened up on 32nd and
On
Broadway.
K-Town.
Yeah, in like at the start of K-Town if you're coming from Penn Station.
Got you.
Like Herald Square, like right there.
That sounds
So I
awesome.
highly recommend going there for something quick.
Yeah.
And speaking of cafes and other delicious things, what is your recommendation, Tessa?
So last weekend I went to this cafe in Brooklyn. It's around Williamsburg. It's called Kijitora East. I am very specifically mentioning the east part because there are two branches of Kijitora. One on Driggs Avenue and one on Graham Avenue. Graham Avenue is where you want to go if you want to get the Instagram like cat grilled cheeses. Because their grilled cheese sandwiches are shaped like cats. And they have different fillings. They're so good.
I love that.
They're so good. It's a small place, so Kijitora East. They only serve the cat grilled cheeses on weekends. So there's
the worst time to go.
No.
So was it super crowded?
It wasn't. It was crowded when I went, but the customer turnover is fast.
Okay.
My friend and I were very aggressive getting a table.
Okay.
So like we saw somebody about literally like finishing up and about to leave, so we just like stood by, grabbed the table, and then went on order. But like the lattes are delicious. They've also got onigiris, like little rice
I
balls
love
with
it.
different fillings.
Love it.
Like in case you don't make it to the cafe for the grilled cheeses, you can get the onigiris and they're also really delicious.
Sounds so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's really, really cute. I had a black sesame latte and a miso salmon onigiri. And the grilled cheese I had ham and Gruyere in it. You can choose the cheese that you can put in the grilled cheese.
That's a good combo.
Well, look
So
at you all
good.
fancy.
I'm making a commitment to like exploring more. So I'm just here like taking note of everything I go to.
Amazing.
I'm so happy I went.
So we have 3 more topics to kind of discuss. This is kind of a controversial discussion, and I was originally going to leave it out, but let's talk boycotts. Tarisha and Chris kind of felt a little bit strongly about Tarisha more specifically felt a little bit strongly about the current Kellogg's protest. So take us through that.
So, if our listeners do not know, most recently the CEO of Kellogg's came out and said, due to the high inflation of food prices, he suggested to people that they could eat cereal for dinner, and that will help, curb their food budget, and also they won't go hungry. So yeah, I consider that to be the most insensitive, and I said it, he's a douchebag. I think that he's a complete douchebag, because you're so out of touch, and you're not saying oh, hey, just eat cereal, but not thinking you have all this money, maybe sponsor a food bank or something where you can give money so those people at the food bank can buy food for people who desperately need it.
No,
I will
CEOs
say,
care about themselves only.
Of course,
yeah,
they
and
do.
I will say it's also it's pretty much blatantly self-serving, because encouraging people to eat cereal for dinner means he's getting the sales for the cereal.
Yeah.
That they're going to purchase for dinner.
Wow.
And did you see how...
That's how it reads.
Yeah. No, I was going to say,
Yeah.
although after that, I don't think anybody's buying Kellogg's for a while.
Can I say, does anyone here actually eat Kellogg's cereals? I do.
I
No,
don't eat cereal, so...
I think I'm more of a General Mills or a Post.
What's your...
I don't pay attention.
Because
sadly.
it's Lucky Charms, or it's Honey Bunches of
Oh, that's
Oats.
General Mills.
Not a sponsor.
General Mills.
Not a sponsor.
It's General Mills. I will
Which
eat
Kellogg?
Special K.
I do cornflakes.
I do
That's
Pop Tarts. That's
Yes.
When I do,
Kellogg's.
it is Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which is General Mills. So
Yeah, there
I'm
you
not-
go.
See,
No, so you're good, so you don't have to
regardless.
I do like
And
General
waffles.
Mills. It's just that General Mills can be a little bit expensive.
But
Well,
Kellogg's has gotten expensive too,
Yeah,
and
now
that's my
they-
beef. I've
Jesus.
switched to cornflakes from Lidl. Sponsor us, Lidl.
I
It tastes
guess-
vastly different, and it's not as
I
good.
might
but
have
it's
to
okay.
get the Stop and Shop brand, or
Yeah,
the grocery
That's what
Get
it
the
is.
store
That's
brand,
what
yeah.
it is.
There's no Stop and Shop brand of Special K. You have to buy
Special K.
Yeah, you have to buy Special
I
K.
do like Rice Krispies, but that's been a minute too. And again, you can probably buy the store brand, and it'll taste the
Yeah.
exact same.
Well, that's the same with Honey Nut Cheerios. You can buy the store brand; it's really the same.
That's General Mills.
But
Point is, yeah.
yeah, but for General Mills, the one cereal I love is Kix, and that is not.
I haven't had it in so long, but I
No.
do love
But
Kix.
it's really expensive.
Well, you
Cereal should not be more than $4 a box.
Exactly.
agree, especially family size. Even bread is getting more
And
expensive.
usually,
Oh, yeah.
they cater cereal so much to children's breakfasts.
Yeah.
Right.
So it would make more sense to down price it to an affordable rate, because it is for kids.
Right. And then, but also saying oh, you can eat cereal for dinner. It's not
It's not healthy.
Yeah, it's not healthy, especially if you like Lucky Charms or Frosted Flakes, all those sugary stuff. Even Honey Nut Cheerios,
Even Rice Krispies, dude.
Yeah.
exactly.
They all have sugar.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not really you're adding to the already high obesity rate that America has at the moment.
I will laugh because this is what was the history of Kellogg's?
Oh,
Cornflakes was supposed to curb
sexual
sexual
desire.
desires.
Get out!
Oh
No,
my
that's the history
God.
of Kellogg's. That's why cornflakes exists, because the things with high flavor, strong flavors, apparently increase sexual desires. So that's why cornflakes exist. That's why it's
Yeah,
bland.
Kellogg's created a...
Wait, curb or
bland-
increase?
No,
Curb.
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 Yeah, they
Yeah.
created a simple, bland cereal in order to curb sexual desire.
It's ridiculous,
Yep.
but however, yeah, that's the origin of cornflakes.
TIL.
So I'm just here once again, Kellogg's is creating controversy,
Oh my God.
as is in line with their brand.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Sounds like it.
But what's funny, and then we can kind of end on it and move on, but there are people showing videos of how, allegedly, because of the protests, they're selling cereal for 99 cents in
Yep.
some places. I'm well, and the point, and it's a great point to be made, is well, if they can sell it for 99 cents
Then
now,
clearly-
they can always sell it
Exactly.
for 99 cents.
Yep.
So let's continue boycotting all of these places. Heavy on Kellogg's, and just briefly touching on boycotting McDonald's and Starbucks, so we don't. One, they're and Trader Joe's. Surprisingly, Trader Joe's, because they're anti-union and they're teaming up with Amazon to squash their workers being able to unionize.
Wait, isn't Amazon already like linked with Whole Foods? They're getting Trader Joe's now too.
No, they're not. They're not merging.
Yeah.
They're coming together as two businesses to be anti-union for the government.
We would have heard a court case about
That's why I was so confused. I was like, wait, what the hell?
I mean, who knows? It's only a matter of time.
So, on our list, you have Wendy's, and I was trying to.
Maybe it's not, and maybe it's just like fast food.
Oh,
okay.
no! I know why Wendy's is probably on there. It's because of that whole surge pricing thing that they've been talking about. How they're increasing,
but they squashed it allegedly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
They'll probably bring it.
It's still gonna happen, I'm sure.
So, for our listeners, like, so Wendy's was considering like having during busy times, like increase their prices of food,
like their Uber.
Okay.
Which actually, so we ordered takeout, or we were going to order takeout off of Seamless the other day, where we found out that there was already in like a upcharge on there by what was it, $5? I think. Yeah,
because,
like it was just easier just to go to Chipotle, and just grab food from there, like. Instead of ordering it, because just on its own, the burrito was spiked up to like I think $15 or $16.
Oh my god!
No.
Yeah, with no like extras or anything. It was just ridiculous.
Ugh. Either way, corporations and capitalism is gonna get us all.
An aneurysm.
And an aneurysm.
Exactly.
Yes.
What's the Sonic thing? Remember, kids, there's no
The meme.
what's the meme? There's no something under there's no ethical consumption under capitalism.
Yep. There you go.
We all.
True words.
I have been pretty good about not getting McDonald's, and I've been pretty good about not getting Starbucks, but sometimes I do want like a Starbucks little drink, a little tasty, because I know Dunkin' Donuts, because it's a franchise, it just depends on who's running it and who's running it, if they're problematic, but their coffee just does not hit as much as Starbucks does.
Don't tell that to my dad. He loves Dunkin'
It's
Donuts
just,
coffee.
it depends. Again, it's because it's franchise based. I know, other than like one or two drinks, I know no matter what Starbucks I go to, it's going to be the same for the most part.
Yeah.
But like, it's not going to be the same at a Dunkin' Donuts. Like, they put too much water in their coffee, or they didn't put enough water in their coffee.
Or they break the shit out of it.
Yes.
Or they put too much sugar. I used to work in a Dunkin' Donuts. It's just a dispenser. They just push a button.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like, it's just not. It's not consistent, and so I do miss Starbucks in that vein. But I recently found out like the Ordinary. It's a skincare line. Works wonders for my skin. They're anti-Palestine. So now I'm like, cool. Now I have to find something else for
We're just like going down.
You just
the
can't.
list.
You can't do anything.
It's just soap and water.
So, yeah. Just some Cetaphil on my skin at this point. Some CeraVe. Just some basic cleanser. No.
Don't.
I mean, don't tell me if I have to like find a whole new skincare altogether.
I mean,
Tessa's like, no, I won't.
listen, I have very specific skincare needs because I have eczema, so like I am not about to like cast judgment on anyone who has also very specific skincare needs.
Yes. So I might just have to break down and support that one business, just because I'm running out of their stuff and my skin is feeling the withdrawal. But let's kind of wrap it up with our two last questions. Well, technically they can be wrapped up in two in the same rather. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of like, let's talk about some upcoming things that we're looking forward to and end on a positive note. There was an unpopular opinion, but we can definitely save that next time for
I think we've had
else.
enough unpopular
Yeah. Honestly.
We did.
But I have so many that are non-book related.
We cannot be contained. We cannot be contained.
But I will list them out for next time.
Yes.
So I think let's just start in a round robin kind of way of what we're looking forward to. And Tarisha, you go first.
I guess our upcoming trip with Evelyn, we're going to Manchester in late April, and we're planning that trip, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope
Super excited.
Yeah.
The land of Beatrix Potter.
Yeah.
And the Lake District.
That's so sarcastic.
I know.
No, she is really excited because as soon as she found out that, she was like, wait, Beatrix Potter's here? There's a world of Beatrix Potter. We're going, right? It's like, yeah, we can go.
Yeah, it's not very far from where we're staying.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, speaking of Beatrix Potter, at the Morgan
Yeah, I was
Library,
gonna
there's
say
going
the
to be an
Morgan House.
exhibit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go in mid-April before we go on our
Did it?
trip.
Take me with you.
Did that start already?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, I did because I went.
Yeah.
They opened. Oh, you went?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
went.
you
It was
went.
really good. It was really good. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
yeah.
Take me with you.
Yeah.
I
I'll
will
let you
draw-
know what
I
day
will
it
draw
is.
bunnies.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love Peter Rabbit.
Yeah,
So much.
so we're really excited for that, and we're spending a couple of days in the Lake District, which is home of Beatrix Potter, and then we're going to Manchester, and definitely taking a tour of Manchester City Stadium,
Yeah.
and also the National Football Museum. And fingers crossed of us trying to get to see a Manchester City game.
Fingers
At home,
crossed.
at
At
his
his home, yes.
Big deal. So fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed
Fingers
on
crossed.
that. Yeah.
Chris, what about you?
So, next week?
This coming week, I think. Are we not? Is that what it is?
What day is today?
Today's the
It's
16th.
Saturday, the 16th.
All right, so yeah, the 22nd, Tessa and I are going to the Fall Out Boy concert.
Yay!
So very excited about
What
that.
venue?
Madison Square Garden.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
we missed the show. Was it last year?
Last year,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
They had one in Queens, I think.
Yeah, so now we're watching the one that's going to be in Madison Square Garden, which is awesome.
Yay.
Yay! Tessa, I know you are seeing Fall Out Boy, but what else are you doing?
Oh God, what am I doing? What am I doing? Checks.
Checks the calendar.
No, skip. I'm too excited for Fall Out Boy.
What are you looking forward to, Whitney?
Tessa first.
I got nothing.
That's fine, you can just say Fall Out Boy.
A Fall Out Boy.
She
Yeah.
can.
I am excited to yes.
Scream along with
To
all
scream-
the
to
elder
scream along with-
millennials.
Scream
Yes.
along with the elder millennials
With
at the
the
Fall Out
elder
Boy
emos.
concert. Good God. Can I not look forward to anything else?
Well, while everybody else is thinking about it, just a heads up, the Morgan is still free on Fridays.
Yes.
But they
Yeah.
require
From
reservations.
Require a ticket.
But they do require
I'm
reservations
going on
now,
a
but-
Saturday. Yeah.
Ooh,
It's
okay.
not. It's $20-something.
That's not bad.
Not too bad. That's not too bad.
It's not, but when you can get in for free, why not?
Yeah.
That's
No.
true.
I think what I'm looking forward to is I mentioned this last week, or I don't know if I mentioned this last week at our last session, but April 6th, which I believe is a Friday, I will be going on a fake group date with a Thai BL actor.
It's a Saturday.
So the 5th, so that Friday. And so it's a little bit under a month, and it's silly. It's so silly. But I was like, when is this ever gonna happen?
Yeah, that sounds
Explain.
fascinating though.
Explain.
So
Please.
it's basically this Thai actor. I know him from a BL, but he's been in other things. It's his birthday, and he's doing like this fan meet. He's coming here to New York, and he's going to Texas, and he's doing like a cool, again, a fan meet. So the New York fan meet, which I think is better, is going to be 2 days, Friday and Saturday. And I'm going to the Friday session because the Saturday I'm doing a K-pop event for the job. And the mornings, there's 2 sessions. The morning session is a group date at a museum. Don't know which museum yet. And then the second part of the date is bowling. So
That's hilarious.
This sounds so wild.
it's so wild.
But
Can you explain the group date part? What does this mean?
Because it's not just going to be me, it's going to be like other people that bought tickets to it.
Do you know how many people are going to be?
No, but it's sold out, and I'm so glad I bought my ticket.
Oh, wow.
But so the part is like it's 2 days. So I'm doing the first day, and then the second day is like a paint and sip and a picnic. And then if you signed up to do both days, you are in the running to do a solo one-on-one date with him. Texas, they just get like a prom party thing, which I'm like, well, that's lame. No offense to Texas.
No, full offense to sex.
Full offense.
Oh my god.
And so I'm doing that, and my plan, because the museum date is so far apart from the bowling date, I'm gonna go see Monkey Man because it comes out the same day.
I want to see that.
I will let you know how it
Okay.
goes. 'Cause it's Monkey Man is a movie with Dev Patel, and I think it's his directorial debut.
Yeah.
It's very much like
okay.
an Indian John Wick kind of.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's like
hilarious.
it's like a revenge superhero, like
And I think it's
Robin Hood type
it's,
thing.
Sounds amazing.
It's being produced by Jordan Peele as well.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So because the museum part ends at 1 and like the bowling doesn't start until 5, I was like, oh, I have like 4 hours to like do something else. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And then Evelyn, I know you're talking about
Very last, what
Very
I'm looking
last
forward
person.
to. Champions League soccer obviously is coming up in April, and that's the best part about working from home. You can do work and watch the game at the same time, so it's great.
Okay, and so with that, we're going to move on very briefly to our plugs and our highlights. Again, as mentioned at our last episode, submit to the Library Zine. You can visit bit.ly/libraryzine, capital L, capital Z, to submit your artwork and writing and short stories, essays, and poetry. Under the theme, Progress is a Process, and basically talk about how the world has progressed or hasn't, both personally and socially and globally.
We're gonna get interesting submissions about that.
And then you can also follow Tabrija. It's going to be on our website, but you can also follow Tabrija in her revolution against or for books at Cup of Tea with That book, please.
I got confused.
Yes. I know, right?
Viva la
It is a
revolution.
blog. I don't know why she said revolution. It's a blog about books.
It's very diverse. Well, you were recently in the top 30
Yes.
most diverse book blogs, so
Hey.
that is to be proud about.
Yes. Thank
And
you.
then Tabrija is also doing a Manga March Madness.
Yes. So Manga March Madness is an initiative that's being run at the New York Public Library where you go to participating branches and you get to vote to see which manga you would like to see reign supreme in different categories. So we have action and adventure, horror, coming of age, boys love, girls love. So if you visit Linktree /NYPL manga, then you get to see all the participating branches and also the programs that we're having in celebration of Manga March Madness throughout the entire month of March.
Awesome. And then lastly, we have K-pop pop-off : comeback. And this is the second year that we are putting on a K-pop party for teens at the job. And it's going to be Saturday, April 6th, which is the day after my group date with my BL actor. Which is why I couldn't do both days. And that's going to be from 2:30 to 4, and it's for teens only. Don't worry about knowing all of these links. We will put them on our website underneath the episode description, which I'm thinking we should call Whitney's Wheelhouse, as I am leading today's discussion.
Whitney's World.
Or Whitney's World. So we want to thank you for listening to Fake Book Club. You can listen to us on Spotify and SoundCloud, and you can visit our website, fakebookclubpodcast.wordpress.com. Our next session, Tabrija will be running the show.
Yes.
And we can anticipate what that's going to be.
Don't be rude.
Be rude.
Be rude. We're going
She's
to
an
be
Anglophile, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
So we're going to be anticipate talking about a lot of British books and fun things to do, and it will her trip.
I've got a few British books.
There we go.
And it will most likely happen after they come back from England. So her and Evelyn come back from England, so it'll be a good intro and episode about this. That works too. Not the word I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
But it'll do. So again, thank you for listening to Fake Book Club. You can find us, all our episodes, at fakebookclub.wordpress.com.